Most scientists agree that the Southeast Asian red jungle fowl, Gallus gallus, is the primary wild ancestor of chickens. However, because DNA studies show that the red jungle fowl lacks the gene for yellow skin and shanks, it is believed that some point hybridization with the gray jungle fowl, Gallus soneraceae, of India has occurred. The body structure of the Indian game bird, Cornish, and the Brahmas of China gives physical evidence of gray jungle fowl influence. The tail carriage of the breed Sumatra indicates genetic contributions of the Sri Lanka jungle fowl, Gallus lafayette. No doubt the green jungle fowl, Gallus varius, has also contributed to modern chickens. The classification of today's chicken, Gallus gallus domesticus, recognizes its primary origin, the red jungle fowl. Domestication probably occurred 7,000 to 10,000 years ago in Southeast Asia and Oceania. Distribution of chickens occurred rapidly and was widespread because of their ability to provide meat and eggs without being competitive for human food sources. But it is believed that the sport of cockfighting was the principal reason for dispersion of chickens. The Araucana, originally found in Araucania region of Chile, continues to provide confusion. Some scientists believe that it was pre-Columbian and originally from Polynesia, but DNA evidence disputes this theory. It is interesting to note that Charles Darwin borrowed extensively from pigeon and chicken breeders of his time in order to formulate his origin of the species. Sir John Sebright, developer of the Sebright Bantam, was often quoted by Darwin in the mid-19th century. Even the Punnett square, that we all learned to use in biology class, was named for R.C. Punnett, who utilized chicken gene traits to prove Mendelian genetics at the beginning of the 20th century. All chickens produce eggs that can be used by people for food. By providing proper diets and environment, specifically light, chickens can be stimulated to produce quantities of nutritious eggs. By selecting for specific physical traits, generation after generation, breeds chickens were developed. In 1874, the American Poultry Association published the first standard of excellence that outlined the breed characteristics. This ushered in the golden age of pure breeding, and poultry led the way for all species of livestock. Heavy breeds such as the Brahma matured slowly and did not excel in egg production. Light breeds, including the Minorca, Leghorn, and Ancona, were great egg producers, but lacked the size to be good meat producers. Dual-purpose breeds like the Rhode Island Red, Barred Rock, and White Wyandotte met both requirements, but seldom produced more than 250 eggs per year. Breeds with white earlobes tend to produce white eggs, and those with red earlobes usually produce brown eggs. Therefore, any pure breed of chicken can be kept for egg production. However, modern egg production hybrids far surpass the pure breeds in egg production and feed efficiency. These birds will produce well over 300 eggs per year and will convert about 2 pounds of feed into a dozen large eggs. Most Wisconsin County Fair entry books follow state statutes that were passed before hybrid-laying chickens were readily available. Therefore, the terminology of crossbred egg-type white earlobes and crossbred egg-type red earlobes inaccurate today. The appropriate entries for these classes are the hybrid white and hybrid brown pullets as pictured above. Much of the credit for hybrid layers can be given to Henry A. Wallace, the founder of Pioneer Hybrid Seed Corn Company in 1926. The successes achieved in corn led Wallace to believe that similar gains could be achieved with the laying hen. In 1936, Wallace established highline poultry genetics on his farm in Iowa. In 1944, the DeKalb Seed Corn Company began development of its own hybrid layers. Universities and other hatcheries also started their own lines of hybrid layers, giving us the Wisco White and the California White. Today, the majority of hybrid layer genetics is concentrated in several large international companies. These companies produce the parent stock that hatcheries purchase to produce the chicks that they sell to producers. Poultry project members should familiarize themselves with these companies and ask their suppliers of chicks the origins of their birds. These major suppliers include poultry farming, raising of birds domestically or commercially, primarily for meat and eggs, but also for feathers. Chickens, turkeys, ducks, and geese are of primary importance, while guinea fowl and squabs, young pigeons, are chiefly of local interest. This article treats the principles and practices of poultry farming. For a discussion of the food value and processing of poultry products, see egg and poultry processing. Commercial poultry feeding is a highly perfected science that ensures a maximum intake of energy for growth and fat production. High-quality and well-balanced protein sources produce a maximum amount of muscle, organ, skin, and feather growth. The essential minerals produce bones and eggs, with about 3 to 4% of the live bird being composed of minerals and 10% of the egg. Calcium, phosphorus, sodium, chlorine, potassium, sulfur, manganese, iron, copper, cobalt, magnesium, and zinc are all required. Vitamins A, C, D, E, and K, and all of the B vitamins are also required. Antibiotics are widely used to stimulate appetite, control harmful bacteria, and prevent disease. For chickens, modern rations produce about 0.5 kilograms, 1 pound, of broiler on about 0.9 kilograms, 2 pounds, of feed, and a dozen eggs from 2 kilograms, 4.5 pounds, of feed. A carefully controlled environment that avoids crowding, chilling, overheating, or frightening is almost universal in poultry farming. Cannibalism, which expresses itself as toe picking, feather picking, and tail picking, is controlled by debeaking at 1 day of age and by other management practices. The feeding, watering, egg gathering, and cleaning operations are highly mechanized. Birds are usually housed in wire cages with 2 or 3 animals per cage, depending on the species and breed, and 3 or 4 tiers of cages superposed to save space. Cages for egg-laying birds have been found to increase production, lower mortality, reduce cannibalism, lower feeding requirements, reduce diseases and parasites, improve culling, and reduce both space and labor requirements. Poultry breeding is an outstanding example of the application of basic genetic principles of inbreeding and crossbreeding, as well as of intensive mass selection to effect faster and cheaper gains in meat and maximum egg production for the egg-laying strains. Maximum use of heterosis, or hybrid vigor, through encrosses and crossbreeding has been made. Rapid and efficient weight gains and high-quality, plump, meaty carcasses have been achieved thereby. Among the world's agricultural industries, chicken breeding in the U.S. is one of the most advanced. Intensive nutritional research and application, highly improved breeding stock, intelligent management, and scientific disease control have gone into the effort to give a modern broiler, meat chicken, of uniformly high quality produced at ever lower cost. A modern broiler chick can reach a 2.3 kg, 5-pound, market weight in 5 weeks, compared with the 4 months that were required in the mid-20th century. Additionally, annual egg production per hen has increased from about 100 in 1910 to over 300 in the early 21st century. Poultry are quite susceptible to a number of diseases. Some of the more common are fowl pox, cholera, fowl cholera, chronic respiratory disease, infectious sinusitis, infectious coryza, avian infectious hepatitis, infectious synovitis, blue comb, Newcastle disease, fowl pox, avian leukosis complex, coccidiosis, blackhead, infectious laryngotracheitis, infectious bronchitis, and erysipelas. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and let what you think about the video